I do briefly want to talk about the fact that Elvis Presley is for some reason like a big part of this movie. Dwayne the Rock Johnson's character likes Elvis a lot for whatever reason. They never really explain why. And he even calls himself the king when he's a football player or some bullshit like that. This movie's decently entertaining. It's not really that good. A lot of people don't like The Rock now. They call him just the typical action movie tough guy. But I feel like his career has always been doing one thing. That's what it always was. When he was a wrestler, he was just that cocky, arrogant dude that made fun of people and has some kind of badly aged promos that make him seem like a complete douchebag. Which there was that transphobic thing that he did on Twitter a few years back that he's never apologized for. And he's best friends with Kevin Hart, who's a piece of shit. um, he used to do movies like this. He did The Game Plan. He did The Tooth Fairy. He did that one movie where he's in like kind of like a little family with this one kid that wants to play guitar and then he ends up smashing his guitar. I can't think of the movie right now. And then he did still have action movies in his past, like Race to Witch Mountain. But he really only stuck with one thing when he did it. So right now, that's just kind of what he's doing. If that's what he wants to do, whatever. Him being a bland actor that does the same roles shouldn't really bother people. I did want to say something about that. I also do want to say something because I actually found this out recently. For like a brief second, they watched Hannah Montana on the TV. I found out recently that like Miley Cyrus had like personality disorder and something like that because she thought Hannah Montana was bigger than her, which I can totally understand that because when I was a kid I thought Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus were two different people. Hannah Montana was really popular. Now let's talk about the actual movie. Now that I've gotten like all that stuff out of the way. The actual movie is The Rock and this girl that comes to his house and says she's his daughter, kind of dwindling his football career, and he's a bit of a jerk to her. But he's still nicer to her than his agent is. His agent treats her like a little distraction. Like she isn't anything. Like she's not even human. She's just a complete prick. I don't know if that's a joke, but goddamn, she's brutal in this movie. Um, uh, Anyways, there's also like sexism thrown in through here and there. Kind of sexist jokes and shit. Did not like that. There's also the typical unfunny character that's supposed to be funny. He's just dumb and that's it. They have the typical tough guy that turns out to not be so tough. And you want to know how he's not so tough? Because he cries during a play and he gives a girl a bunch of stuffed animals. Wow. I guess tough guys can't do that. I've never liked that dumb, stereotypical joke. It's not funny. I did think the stuffed animal joke was funny, but not because of him being a tough guy. You see all Dwayne's friends coming in with stuffed animals, and they all only bring the kid one. And then he comes in with piles. I liked that. And it wasn't because he was the typical tough guy. That was probably the funniest joke of the movie. You see two of Dwayne's friends come in, they got one stuffed animal each. And then the third one comes in and he's got fucking 50 animals. I don't know why, but it was kind of funny. Um, so they also have like this little plot, like thing for the plot. It's kind of a throwaway line, but The Rock won't take a DNA test to find out if the daughter is his or not, because then the paparazzi and shit like that will start to frame him as a dad that left his daughter and he's just now trying to take care of her. Which honestly, I don't think that would really hurt his career because A lot of celebrities do bad shit and nobody gives a fuck. Anyways, the whole reason he won't take the test is because the needles and the other they end up doing like an improvised thing. He tries to improvise and be like, well, I could do this. And she's like, no, you can't do that because, the paparazzi. Well, then later they hire nannies. They won't get a fucking test in a hospital because it'll get out that he has a daughter and he abandoned her, or they'll spread rumors about it. But they're gonna hire a fucking nanny? There's not gonna be rumors there? Were they thinking when they put that in the plot? And it's literally useless because the nanny never even shows up. They do a throwaway joke with her where she finally shows up and the girl just kind of fires her while Dwayne is hesitant because he finds her hot. She's just like, you're fired, that's it. You think that won't get out to the paparazzi? Like, they're so worried about his reputation, but she just fires someone for no reason before she even does her job or gets paid. She's not going to talk about that and it gets out that Dwayne is a dick or something. Okay. That makes total sense. What else? They also have another stereotypical friend that's kind of nice and kind of smart, and there's like a very goofy scene where Dwayne needs advice and he goes to like a movie theater room or something that I think is in his house, and then the guy is just like sitting there and starts giving him advice. And then later Dwayne separates his shoulder and gets some bruised ribs, and he's like, I don't want to do football anymore, I'm too hurt. And then his daughter shows up and he just kind of fights through it, has no problem with it. Then there's this thing that kind of makes sense but kind of doesn't. He's going to get $25 million and all he has to say is he's going to eat at a restaurant. He doesn't actually have to do it. He just has to say, hey, now that the game's over, I'm going to go eat at McDonald's. Of course, the thing in the movie is called Fanny's or something dumb like that. But that's all he has to do is say that, and he gets fucking $25 million. Why wouldn't he do that? Well, he cares about his daughter now, so instead of saying, I'm going to Fanny's, he's like, I'm going to go home and take care of my daughter or something corny like that. And the movie ends a few minutes later. Or he could even have added something like, I'm going to Fanny's with my daughter. Though there's like this running joke that really doesn't even matter, that the daughter doesn't like Fanny's because her mom that passed away said that Fanny's is unhealthy and stupid or something. So I guess I could kind of see why he wouldn't do that. But he still could have said that and then just went home with his daughter. No one said he actually had to go there. Oh, and what else? They also have like this random girl that Dwayne never breaks up with. It's kind of weird. He has like this girl that they don't even talk about her until she shows up. He gets a phone call from some girl right when he's about to have a heartwarming talk with his daughter. And then, of course, his daughter's mad because he's like, why aren't you still in love with my mom anymore? Just like silly children shit. Which I know she's a child. She's 8 in the movie. But her mom passed away. Why does she care that he's dating? Especially since he hasn't been in her mom's life for 8 years. Like, once again, I know she's a child, but it's kind of funny. Anyways, the girl shows up. The fucking girl is ruthless. She calls her old, calls her and says she looks 40 when she's 21. Basically hints at The Rock cheating on her when she shows up. She calls her a different name. Her name's like Tatiana or something. And she's like, hey, Melanie, Dwayne told me all about you. Like, geez, girl, you're 8 and you're this ruthless? My God, who taught you this? And then, of course, like, he ends up sending her to his neighbors to take care of her while he has a romantic dinner with Tatiana. And then she ends up lying and saying she's allergic to the dog and pretending to sneeze. And then he tries to tell Tatiana that he's still the same guy. Nothing's changed. They just have a daughter now. And then she sees his new car, and that kind of like turns her off, that it's not the cool 2-seater expensive car. It's now like a station wagon is what they call it, but it just looks like an expensive 4-seater car. But okay, I guess that's terrible. I guess that means that Tatiana never wanted kids. Or just never wanted to go out with her friends. And, like, he's a rich guy. He could have just let her use his car, and then she could have went out with 3 of her friends. But no, she likes the 2-seater. Then, I guess, at some point in the movie, she bedazzled, is what they call it, his jacket. So there's, like, glitter and stuff on the back. So that's, like, the last we see of her after she sees that his jacket's bedazzled. They don't break up or anything. And they also try and make him date this random chick, which I always hate in movies. They put the two most characters that should not work together and don't work together. It's not corny and it's not terrible, but it just doesn't work. Where you put two characters together just because they're the opposite sex. That's the best way I can explain it. Dwayne takes this girl to, his daughter actually is what I meant to say, to ballet class, and then he ends up talking to this girl there, and they kind of hint at them dating. They never kiss or anything like that, but it definitely seems like that's what they were going for, and it's just so stupid. But yeah, that's about it. It's a decently entertaining movie at times, but I can see why a lot of people don't like it. It's not a movie I would watch again. Had its funny moments, but mostly wasn't worth the long-ass runtime. It's almost 2 hours long. And I definitely got bored at parts. And like I said, some things just don't make sense. Like, well, he can't take a test to see if the girl's his daughter or not because it'll get out to the public. But they're perfectly fine being rude to fans and hiring nannies and all that stuff because that definitely couldn't get out to the public. But yeah, that's about it.